Yo, you ever you ever been so thirsty or like so dehydrated, right? That when you finally get something to drink, especially like something really cold, and when you finally drink it, you can literally feel it going through your ribs, going through your body on the inside. That is so weird. Like that feeling is up there with like having sex. Feel me? Like it feels. Hold on. That's the greatest feeling ever. Like one of the greatest feelings ever. When you drink something, especially if it's like ice cold, and you feel it going through your. Oh my god. Oh man, that's. Oh, that's good. All right, let's go. You ready? All right then. Let's get it. Sup? Though Craigslist is a great place to find.
Number 3.
What? Okay.
I'm a 22-year-old girl. I was looking on Craigslist to buy a couch for my new apartment a month ago. I found something I thought seemed like a good deal. From the pictures, the couch seemed to be in great shape. The seller wanted to be contacted by email. His email was mexicanpoppy666 at
Wow.
hotmail.com.
That email alone. 3 red flags. Off. But. And then top it all off. At hotmail.com. Who the hell uses Hotmail? It's all about that Gmail account. You feel me? It's all about that Gmail. If you're using anything else, you're clucking up.
I felt that email was a bit off-putting.
It is.
I still went ahead and emailed the man my offer. He responded within 5 minutes, accepting the offer and
Right.
asking for my address.
Right.
I honestly felt uncomfortable with his asking. I did not want a stranger coming to my house. I suggested that I just come to his house to pick it up, but he continually insisted that he come to my house. Eventually, I stopped responding, and a day later, he emailed me again, giving me his address.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know if I should go at that point, but it seemed like a steal, almost too good to be true. And according to his address, he didn't live too far. So I got in my van and drove over to the seller's house.
I don't care if this bitch lives right next door to you. I don't care if he lives 6 miles out. You're meeting somebody that you met through Craigslist, which is already a red flag, but you're meeting somebody through Craigslist who you probably have never met before, so I don't know about you, but I'm bringing somebody else with me. You know, I'm not going nowhere alone, especially if I've never met you before. I'm not doing that. No, I don't even care if I have my Adidas on, right? I'm not going nowhere alone at all. You have to know. Come on, person in this story. You got to know somebody that can just bring that can you. You need to know somebody. Like you don't even have to know that person, but like, oh yes you do. Just bring somebody with you. Bring somebody with you so you can meet this mother clucker, not by yourself. Bring at least one person with you. I'm not saying you have to be like me, right? And bring like 10 people with you, and you in that junk deep as hell. No, I'm not saying all that. At least bring one person with you because you never met this mother part. You never met. I was about to say mother person. You never met this mother clucker, so you don't know what his intentions are. I mean, you kind of get a feel. You kind of get a sense. It started off with that email. Ever since that email, ever since you got that email, Mexican Poppy 6. I'm not even gonna say the rest of that. You fucking playing.
I immediately noticed that the house was a bit smaller than all the other houses on the block.
It's a bit weird.
When I rang the bell, A middle-aged man wearing a baseball cap answered the door. He gave me a huge smile and invited me in.
Now I'm gonna stay right here.
I was immediately feeling uneasy. He led me into his living room, and I saw the couch. Immediately, I saw scuff marks and small tears in the couch. It was not at all in the shape that it appeared in the ad. I commented on this, and he just smiled and offered to lower the price. I told him I'm not interested, and here's where things started getting creepy.
Right.
As I was making my way out of the house, he put his hand on my shoulder and offered to give it to me for free if I was willing to, quote-unquote, give something to him.
You got it.
I let out a disgusted gasp and got back into my car. I didn't even look up out the window. I just drove away from there quickly. But it doesn't end there. That same night, I was laying in my bed watching TV when I thought I heard somebody stomping up the steps of my porch.
Oh.
I muted the TV and was able to clearly hear the sound of somebody fiddling with my front doorknob. I jumped out of my bed and tiptoed over to the front door to look through the peephole.
I jumped out of my bed and jumped out that window. Cluckers, you talking about? So you stay playing. You stay playing games. You're about that playing games. Like, here, you want a controller? You want a console? Why did I say it like that? Do you want a console? I can give you a controller. Hey, you like playing games, don't you?
Whoever it was already gone. And then, I thought I could hear the sound of the gate to the backyard opening and closing. That was when I grabbed the phone and dialed 911. Soon after, I heard the sound of somebody fiddling with the doorknob to the back door of the apartment.
You got me? Wow.
I yelled to whoever it was that the police were on their way, and after that, I heard the sound of the gate opening and closing again. They were gone. This was a month ago, and nothing has happened since, but I still can't sleep at night. I'm 99% sure it was the man that was selling the couch. He must have followed me home. There was no way it was just a coincidence. I don't plan on using Craigslist anymore, and I'm still trying to find a new apartment. Number 2.
Hey, look. Meanwhile, see, I'm going to give you some advice, right? In this story, the person that was clucking up in this story, right? The person that wanted that couch, if you're watching this video, let me tell you something. Look. Whole time, while you was listening and trying to figure out who or what was trying to get into your house, whole time you was listening, you should have been listening to your footprints, right? You should have been listening to the only sound of you running, of you hauling ass. That's fuck. All for a couch. I slept on the floor a couple of times. Right? Comfortable as hell. You just gotta learn finesse with the covers.
I was looking for a car to buy for my son for his 18th birthday.
Right.
I was searching all the typical car websites, cars.com, eBay Motors. They were all overpriced as expected. Craigslist was the only place to find an actual deal. About a week into my search, I found an '03 Toyota Camry. It had 67,000 miles, no accidents, no damage, in good condition for only $3,500. This seems like a steal for such a reliable car with such low mileage. The seller lived about 10 miles from me, which was a reasonable drive when looking for a car.
Right.
I gave him a call to set up a time to come check it out. The man sounded normal on the phone. He assured me that there were absolutely no problems with the car. He introduced himself as Bob. I brought
Bob. I don't really know how to say this, but I'm just gonna be like, very blunt about it, very upfront. Um, I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I'm gonna tell it like it is. Excuse me. Don't trust nobody named Bob.
3,500 in cash, even though I planned on wiggling down the price as much as possible. I pulled up the dirt road to Bob's property about 15 minutes early. It was a tiny little house with a decent-sized property, only because it was a bit far from the nearest neighbors. The garage was open, so I walked over to see if anybody was inside, but except for an unusual amount of car parts, it was empty. The car was nowhere in sight. The only car on the property was an old pickup truck. I went over to the front door to check the house numbers. It was the right address. The doorbell button was missing, so I knocked on the front door. I knocked for exactly 5 minutes before deciding to give the man a call.
5 minutes? And then you give him a call? I would have gave it 5 seconds. Oh, okay. We both agreed that I'm gonna meet you here, right at your place, at this time, right? Okay, remember that we both agreed. Okay. First of all, the car that I saw on the ad is nowhere in sight. It's just the old rusty dusty pickup truck, right? Wow. Second, it doesn't even seem like you're home. Right? Knocked on the door. I didn't even want to do that, but I give you 5 seconds. Not no fucking 5 minutes. Sorry, damn it. I'm sorry. Nah. No answer. No signs of you home. All right, I'm bouncing. Peace. I can walk where I need to go. I don't need a car. I want a car. I just don't need a car. A car is not that important, especially if it's dealing with my life, bitch. What is wrong with me tonight? Yeah, so I'm out of here. I'm not even gonna call you. We both agreed on the time and the place where I was gonna meet you at. We confirmed this, and yet you want to act like you're not. You want to act all sus. You want to act all suspicious. Okay, cool. I'm not with the shits. I'm not playing no games. So I'm out. I gave you 5 seconds. I shouldn't have given that. But I gave you 5 seconds. Nothing. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't smell nothing. So I'm out. Doses.
So I dialed his number and I heard the sound of a cell phone ringing from inside the house.
See? He playing.
I was extremely confused at this point. Now I knew I had the right house. I didn't understand why, if he was home, why he wasn't answering. I decided I had to take a peek through one of the windows to see if anybody was inside. Peering through the glass, I couldn't really see much as it was pretty dark inside the house. I saw a very old-fashioned dining room set, but across from that, I saw somebody standing at the back door of the house, staring outside.
Oh my God.
I figured that must have been Bob, so I knocked on the window, but he didn't even move. There was no gate or anything to the backyard. It was just a wide-open yard, since this wasn't a rural area. I simply walked around the house to the backyard. I didn't understand how he couldn't hear me.
I'm tired of these motherfuckers missing these red flags, missing these signs. Like, I want to make my own medication. I want to make my own pills and call it no. I could call it that. Red flag pills. Or like Gator pills. I don't know. The pills itself would help you excuse me, would help you, right? And collective situations, or it would help you, like you need to take the pills, right? Every time you need to take the, if you're gonna go outside your house, right? You need to take the pills. Forgot to put my phone on airplane mode. Fuck. Now I did. Now I did. No more interruptions. But if I prescribed you, if I prescribed you, did I say that right? With the pills, you need to take the pills 30 minutes before you leave the house if you're going to leave the house, right? And what the pills would do, right, it would heighten up your red flag senses, right? They would make you think like me, you know? So in a situation like this, you're not about to go above and beyond for a goddamn car. Right? Especially if we already confirmed this. We already have confirmed that I'm going to meet you at your house at this specific time. There we go. I couldn't say that. But if we're going to meet, if we already confirmed this then I'm going to meet you at your house at a very specific time, right? And you're not, well, you're in the house, but you're acting like real sus. You acting like you're not in the house when I can clearly see you in the house. You looking straight at me, I'm looking at you, right? But you're not doing shit about it. But you over here looking real sus right now. I knocked on the door. You saw me knock on the door, right? Called you. I saw you look at your phone, but you didn't do nothing about it. You just looked at it, looked at me, looked back at the phone, then looked at me. So what you doing? Like, I'm out. Like, no. The pills would heighten up your red flag senses. And I'll call them Gattor pills. You get 100 pills for the price of, I don't know, $2. I guess I'm a cheap motherfucker.
When I got to the back door, I made a shocking realization. The figure standing by the door was a taxidermied human being. I ran straight back the way I came and back to my car. I looked up one last time before driving off. The blinds to the window I had peeked into had been shut, but I could see two of the blinds bent open.
Oh my God.
Somebody was at that window watching me.
Yeah. Oh.
You can probably guess I had the gas pedal to the floor the whole way home. The whole situation still makes no sense. All the car parts, the fact that there was no Toyota Camry, the taxidermied human being, the fact that there was no car there leads me to believe that whoever that man wasn't planning on selling me anything. And that also leads to the disturbing thought that I was very close to becoming a lifeless statue staring out that man's back door. Number 1. I was looking to buy the iPhone 5 about a year ago. I found a guy on Craigslist who was selling his for $200. He claimed it was in mint condition and that he wanted to upgrade to the 5C. I didn't know much about how to go about testing a phone to make sure everything works, so I brought my little brother along who knew a lot more than I did.
Okay.
We met halfway at a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot at like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh my God.
Two large, intimidating guys stepped out of a black Honda Civic and walked over to us. One of the guys pulled out the phone and showed it to me. It didn't have a scratch on it. My brother took out my SIM card and popped it into this new phone. He did some testing and told me that it works. The guy then asked for $250, even though he originally asked for $200. I lied and told him I only brought $200, and he seemed a bit unhappy with this. I did have $250, but I didn't want to spend more than his original asking price. I kind of figured it was his way of making sure I didn't haggle down the price. I handed the guy the $200, and he and his buddy got back in their car. We got back into my car, and I tested out the new phone by calling my girlfriend. I sat testing things around for about 5 minutes. My brother commented on the fact that the two guys hadn't left yet either.
Wow.
I didn't really care.
I did.
I started the car and pulled out of the parking lot. My brother then commented that the two guys started their car just as I had. I didn't find it too weird. I drove down the turnpike and eventually stopped at a red light. That's when I noticed the black Honda Civic pull up right behind us in my rear view mirror. I found that a bit weird since I was sure they came from the opposite direction. I continued my drive home, but every single turn we made, they followed and close.
Like I said in a video before, I can pretty much pick up when a person is following me pretty fast. So what I would do in a situation like that, right? I'm making random ass turns. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm making 2 lefts, 2 rights, 5 lefts, 6 rights, 1 left, make a U-turn, floored it about 600 feet, bust a right, slight left, going up a couple feet, back up, make a left, right, left again, 2 rights, go back up another 1,000 feet, right, bust a U, make a right, then a left, then a right again, left one more time. Can I get a hop one time? Hoppy hop, hop hop, shimmy shimmy shimmy, shimmy 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 to the left, shimmy 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 shimmy. Yo, but yeah, if you think somebody like following you in a car, like you driving, you think somebody following you, just make like a lot of random turns, and that's one way, or pretty much like the notice, like the a very noticeable way that if you want to know if like somebody's following you, just make a lot of random ass turns, and yeah, that would be an answer right there. God forbid anybody following you, but just do that, right? And never get out your car if you think somebody following you. Just keep going. That's all I'm saying. Right? I don't know why I'm paused.
Tail too. My brother suggested I pull over, but there was no way I was going to do that. I knew those guys were looking for trouble. It got to the point where I was trying to lose them and started driving dangerously. If they needed something, they would call or at least honk their horn, but they were looking for some kind of trouble. I tried something risky to lose them. At an intersection, the light had just turned red. I floored it across the intersection before any of the cars would begin to pass. My brother shouted at me, calling me stupid and crazy, but it worked. They didn't follow.
Hey, okay.
We got home after the extra long drive. My heart was still racing from the intensity of the situation. I was just happy I got a working phone for such a low cost. Later that night, I was playing around with the phone, trying to set some things up before going to bed. My parents and brother were already asleep at this point, and just then, the sound of 2 car doors slamming shut outside interrupted me. I looked out my window, and I felt like my heart completely stopped. The black Honda Civic was parked across the street. I could only assume the 2 guys were already halfway to our front door. I immediately woke up my dad and explained everything as quickly as possible. He got up, grabbed a baseball bat, and crouched behind the front door. A loud knock came at the front door. My dad screamed at them to go away. One of the guys on the other side of the door claimed to have a gun and said that he would shoot the lock off of the door if he didn't open up. My dad told me to call Joe, our friend who lives 2 doors down who happens to be a police officer. I called Joe and he said he would be right over and to stay hidden. Here's the part that still scares me to this day. There was the sound of a silenced shot of a pistol. I peeked over and saw a bullet hole in the door, inches away from my dad's head. My dad ran away from the door and we all listened. We heard Joe outside yelling at them to drop their weapons. My dad went outside to help when they lowered their guns. Joe arrested the 2 assholes. I have to say, this was the scariest day of my life, but it was also the best I had ever felt in my entire life.
That's how you know this is old. That's how you know it's an old Mr. Nightmare video. Because I think out of all of the horror... You mother clucker. Oh my god. Okay. But, like I was saying, out of all of the horror stories horror stories from Mr. Nightmare that I reacted to, as far as I can remember, I don't think he has ever played music like the way he did at the very end of his video. Yeah, as far as I can remember, and as far as only the videos that I remember like reacting to from Mr. Nightmare, I think yeah, I've never heard him play music. That's how I know it's old as hell. But yo, if you're gonna do anything, like if you're gonna meet somebody through Craigslist, first of all, who the hell is Craig? Right? And where did Craigslist even come from? That's the real question. Because I feel like Craig is a weird ass mother clucker. Right? But that's besides the point. If you want to meet up with somebody through Craigslist, at least not only have your Adidas with you, right? But at least have backup. At least have one or two other people with you. That's all I'm saying. Right? If you're going to meet up with somebody through Craigslist, best believe you better have the best protection that you can get. This is why I don't mess with Craigslist. I just don't. Like, no. I'm not gonna do it, Nat. I'm not gonna do it. I'm never gonna do it. My kid's not gonna do it. My kids not gonna do it. My kids not gonna do it. And so on and so forth. Right? But, I mean, if you mess with Craigslist, shit, well, that's on you. Right? But just please listen to my advice. Right? If you're gonna meet up with somebody through Craigslist, at least have your Adidas on. If you don't have Adidas on, at least have 5 people with you as backup. At least. That's all I'm saying. I want y'all to be as safe as possible. Because we family. I want to protect my family. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.